Hello and welcome to the Lost Mountain Saga, the After Action Report. We just finished the campaign for Vaesen, the Lost Mountain Saga, and we're going to take just a moment to kind of talk about our highlights, what we thought of the campaign, our most memorable moments, and whatnot. So, as the game master, I was excited to play this. I love Vaesen. It's a very fun system, very unique, and the I had heard good and bad things about the campaign. A lot of people said that it's kind of connected mysteries, and other people said the first one's really good, and then there's a couple that are kind of stinkers. And I actually liked all of them. I thought they were all really good. The first one I think was probably my favorite, the one with the little the myling. But
Mhm.
honestly, the one I will remember the most will be the Lady of the Cold. I think that's the one that's going to stick with me, just because it was so awesome what you guys did. I think the ending, it's cool, but I think it's missing something, and it does feel like you learn a little bit about what's going on, and then you're kind of jumping around doing other things, and there's little bits that kind of tie in, but it felt like it was kind of disconnected. I can see where people say that, but I loved the big reveal at the end of like what the mine actually is and kind of what the crystals actually are. I think that's a really cool thing for people. So for me, this was definitely a winner campaign. Vaesen, it's great for one shots, but I think the campaign is awesome to see you guys progress and improve skills and talents. And it was fun doing things at the castle, making changes there, upgrading that, and I didn't know if we would all survive the campaign. I honestly thought we would lose somebody with the Lady of the Cold, um, but I'm not surprised that we lost a few at the end. And I think it was pretty dramatic and pretty uh, cinematic how it went down. So for me, this was definitely a great campaign, and it was relatively short. We did it in 6 3-hour sessions. I would have loved to have spread it out a little bit more, but it's hard with a mystery to kind of stop in the middle and then have to pick it back up. I think,
Mhm.
excuse me, I think it's better just to kind of do, one mystery per session kind of thing. So, you could always add a few things here and there, but I think it was good. I like short campaigns. It's short and sweet and tends to be to the point. And what really makes it great was the people that we had in the game. And so let's start there. Let's start with Alex. You played Freya. Why
Mhm.
don't you just give us a quick rundown? What did you like about it? What was something that will stick with you? Was there anything that you didn't like? Or if you were to tell someone about this campaign, what would you tell them?
Yeah, I liked all the mysteries too. I think my standouts are probably the same as yours, the Myling, and then the one where we were all just cold.
Yeah.
I loved the monster that you improvised, the hand coming out of the floor
Yeah,
there.
wasn't that great?
Um, and I loved the werewolf change too in the last session that we did, and dueling the werewolf,
Yeah,
also a
so
highlight.
so it's supposed to be a lindworm, which is cool, but man, a werewolf is just so much better. It's such a better fit, I think, than a lindworm. And I mean, even if it wasn't part of your backstory, like I still think that's a better fit. And the duel was just awesome. Like I immediately made a short on YouTube of the duel, so I could easily go back and rewatch that because I still giggle like when I watch it. So it was
Yeah,
just fantastic.
yeah, I loved the creativity of the group, and how we all worked together and how we were super chaotic a lot of the time. Um, I think the thing that will probably stick with me the most is like Freya's death. I got like super emotional and I didn't think that would happen.
Yeah, that
Um,
was that was it was very touching, especially like I, I I always hesitate to have someone narrate your final moments, but man, it's powerful letting you decide how your story ends.
mhm, yeah. Yeah, no, it was just really cool. I'm so happy we got to do this. I think maybe the one thing for me, I was kind of wondering at the end if we should let the big Vaesen take the heart.
Right.
Um, just because it kind of felt like it was like, nature trying to like reclaim itself, and it felt a little um I don't know. It just felt a little weird to be like, well, let's not let that happen.
Yeah, the whole thing's very railroady anyway,
Mhm.
and the ending is absolutely railroady. Like it gives you no guidance as to what if this happens or that happens, and I'm thinking if they want to run with letting this thing take the heart, like we'll come up with something. But yeah, like I think the and in as written that doesn't happen. As written, the gate opens and you sense that there's something there, but nothing comes through the gate. But they've given us this artwork of this thing coming through the gate. I'm like, I'm going to use that. And so I had
Right.
this thing come through the gate, and like, and I didn't know what's going to happen. Like, if it takes the heart, if you guys want to let it do that, we'll come up with something cool. But as written, it's supposed to. There's an explosion, and I love kind of how Sigrid, goes from evil to like I got to make things right to then she's like, oh, this really does work. That's it. I'm back on the evil train. Um,
Well,
like it's like real life. So
mhm. Yeah.
sorry,
But yeah,
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you were saying that was a part that maybe didn't sit well with you.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, like, otherwise, I really love this campaign. And I thought it was a lot of fun.
Awesome. And Luke, you played Nigel. In fact, I forget Nigel's last name. I always want to say Fairweather. Nigel Pritchard. That's right. Nigel, Luke, you played Nigel. What did you think of the campaign?
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of playing a lot of Vaesen with you guys. Like, I think it was, I don't know, like 8 months ago we played a Night Sow, and I've been chasing the emotional high of that game since, and we totally hit it here. That was so good. I really liked that. Even if the ending is a bit railroady, it went perfectly. This campaign, I'm not a very investigating type of person. I think there's a lot of investigating, so I maybe felt a little useless at times. But then playing a servant was perfect for that. I
Mm-hmm.
always had something to do. So I don't know. I'm spoiled by playing with you guys, which are quite an awesome crew. So I think we'd probably have fun, even if the material's not great. But this campaign being short, I also think it is quite sweet. Yeah, I had a good time.
Now, playing as a servant, because that's a very different role, you kind of take a back seat in some scenes, and then in other scenes, you can kind of come forward as you stretch outside of what's expected of you. What was like? Had you ever played a servant or like a hireling or retainer before?
No, not at all. I've only ever really I started playing with this server, so everything you've seen is pretty much it.
Nice.
And no, never. It was so fun. Like it doesn't feel like taking a backseat at all. Even when I was doing like servantly things, it was always so fun. I
Well,
loved that dynamic of the increasingly crazy requirements and duties.
and it was great how, as a servant, you had a certain level of camouflage in certain parts where, no one looks at the servants. And so, like at the ball, no one paid any attention to you, and you had some carte blanche to go in and, see what happens behind the curtains and maybe overhear a few conversations that no one else would be privy to. And that's something that if no one was playing a servant, that likely wouldn't have happened. And so there's definitely advantages to that. Henrik, you played Lord Montgomery. What did you think?
Well, I thought it was a great campaign. I enjoyed the adventures. I can kind of see how they are a little disjointed, but overall, I think the story came full circle at the end, and it was a satisfying end to the story. I definitely enjoyed playing an English lord. I think it would be fun to do more adventures in England.
Mm-hmm.
Would be fun. Perhaps Nigel has a twin brother that
Rigel or something.
yes, that can replace uh, his as his new servant. But otherwise, it was a very fun campaign.
Or maybe Luke can play like the Earl, and you're now like his inferior, and so you have to do what the Earl says or something. Or we get to England and find out that you're not even a lord at all, that you just, you bought an acre of land in Scotland and called yourself lord.
It would be amazing.
um, and as far as the interplay between Montgomery and Nigel, was that a source of was that something that you enjoyed playing, or did it feel like was I did it feel like I was trying to force that on you guys, or did you guys feel like that was a fun aspect of the campaign?
Well, Lord Montgomery enjoyed it. It was nice because if it was something difficult, he could always just turn to Nigel, and Nigel could solve the problem.
It is cool. And I forgot to ask Luke, what was your favorite moment of the campaign, and then Henrik, same question for you.
Ooh, it's hard. Up until tonight, probably with the giant and the cannon and all that. Nigel loved that, and I think he got a bit of a self-sacrifice complex there, which it culminated tonight, and I think I probably enjoyed that the most. I've been really, yeah, like I said, that was so fun at night, so I'm glad we got something similar.
Awesome. And Henrik, what about you? What was your favorite moment of the campaign?
I would agree. I think the giant, the Nigel and Montgomery's last stand was my favorite part.
And let's go to Miss Pick. You played Ilsa, our occultist, and Crust, the little black cat with an attitude.
Yeah.
What did you think of the campaign? What was your favorite takeaway moment?
Well, I've played a lot of Vaesen one-shots, and I think that campaigns just allow for so much more. I really enjoyed how we got to build the relationships with each other's characters. Like, something I'll always remember is in the first session, when I got to tell Dagmar about, how I got Crust. And that was just such a good moment for me and my character. And yeah, I just love playing with, this group is awesome, and I think we did a great job.
Well, everybody kind of had moments where they sort of teamed up. Like,
Exactly.
Nigel and
Yeah.
Montgomery had their scene with the cannon and whatnot, but also it was probably session 2, is the end of the first mystery, when Ilsa and Freya were in that old church that was abandoned. The people
Oh,
come
yeah,
in,
yeah.
like, oh, that was awesome. You guys got to work together. And with Dagmar, a lot of times you were doing things on your own because you were a street kid, and so you're out doing street kid stuff, but you had chances during recoveries where I think you really keyed in on, like, how can I help Freya through this, and how can I help Ilsa through this, and what can I say, and that was, I think, Dagmar's real role-playing strength, was helping others to recover, which makes sense why now you're focusing more on medicine and helping rather than say harming. In fact, but before I get to you, Tina, was that your favorite moment, Miss Pick, when you were explaining how you got Crust?
I did like that moment, but I think my favorite moment that stands out the most to me was doing the seance in the first session with the myling.
Oh yeah, and then you find out that it was smothered by its mother and burnt by its father, and like you find, oh yeah, that was very creepy.
Mhm.
All I needed was the power to go out in my house, and you guys would have heard a scream. Actually, you wouldn't have heard a scream because my power would have been out and the microphone would have been dead. But yeah, that was very very creepy. I like to set kind of creepy moods, and sometimes the music is really helpful, and then other times it kicks into some banjo medley, which doesn't help. But for the most part, we had really good success with the music on Foundry. Tina, you played Dagmar, our lovable street urchin. What did you think of the campaign?
It's so hard to pick who to play because there's so many great choices, and I think the character development really lets you lean into sort of walking in with a character that's quite strongly formed already. And I thought about, I'll always have a dog in anything if I can, and I also thought about just adding a little lightness to the game, not realising at the time, of course, that we were going to have the comedy duo of Lord Montgomery and Nigel as well. So I had a lot of fun with her. I felt like I wasn't sure which direction she would evolve. So the way she was injured so often, I think letting her evolve towards wanting to specialise in medicine as she gets older, I thought made a lot of sense for her. So I would recommend try Vagamond. It's really fun. Like it's just a different way to approach Vaesen. I think my favourite moment's her alone in the churchyard burying the little remains of the baby was just because she's I think connection's really important to her, and she thinks about other children a lot because of the way she grew up.
For the rough upbringing
That's
she had.
That's exactly right. So she so tenderly buried the baby with the gravestone of a lady, hoping that the spirit of the lady would be the mother to that baby. And Also, of course, getting to kill the werewolf, because I'm thinking back to one of the one-shots where she kicked the priest in the shins and didn't even get him. And she's been so bad at fighting, and then she gets to this point where it really would have mattered to her because the werewolf killed her family, and she gets to get the last blow on the werewolf. For comedy moments, it has to be the start of the duel. That was so funny.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was that was so good. And I think, like, I was worried that we would lose Dagmar, that the
Me
Lady of the
too.
Cold would take you. And I'm like, I don't want to lose Dagmar. So you had made a backup character.
I did.
But I'm glad it didn't come to that. I'm glad Dagmar was able to see it through to the end, at least.
Yeah.
And,
She's resilient, for sure.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I would like to play her again going forward, but as an adult doctor. And I think her experiences that she's had going through this. And I loved the development of the relationship between the characters that you can get over a campaign rather than a one-shot. And I've always loved the thought of coming back to that castle and having a home together. Me and Dagmar both just think that's amazing. So I loved that we could develop the castle and she had friends there and it was cozy and she could still go out into the street, but she had a cozy place to come back to.
Yeah,
so
she had a home that, where she had people that cared about her and were concerned about her, and she could come and go as she pleased. No one laid rules down upon her. No one said, "Hey, there's a curfew," and they all trusted you to be safe and be smart, and I think that freedom was great for Dagmar. I think if they had told her, don't go out at night, I don't think that she would have listened. I think she would have.
No, she wouldn't. She was too used to being independent. And I think Bjorn perhaps adopted her.
Yeah.
So, because her motivation was always to find her true home. So while she loves the castle, a lot of the people she loved have gone or died.
Yeah.
So I think she found a home with Bjorn, who lost Franzi. So.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you guys one last time for playing. I had an absolute blast doing this. I would look forward all week. From the time we ended, I was looking forward to the next game. And now I don't know what I'm going to do on my Saturdays, Tina's Sunday, until we get a chance to play again. So hopefully this is not the last time we all play Vaesen together again. I've got some more one-shots, and I can always throw together another little mini campaign. The nice thing with Vaesen, you could take like a Call of Cthulhu campaign and just play it in Vaesen. You just reskin the stuff, but like anything like that, you could easily do it. And I'm excited for the new Vaesen things that are coming out, the 2 new books and the starter set. In fact, they should be coming soon. The Kickstarter was like 6 months ago, so I'm excited about the other mysteries that will be set there, and hopefully we will see more of Dagmar, Ilsa, and Montgomery, and whomever Luke and Alex bring to the table. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thanks again, everybody, and have a wonderful night.